For decades, Proxima b was more ghost than world. A whisper hidden in the glare of its parent star, Proxima Centauri, a dim, flickering red dwarf just 4.24 light-years away. Astronomers saw its presence only indirectly. A wobble in the star's light, a subtle pull of gravity, a statistical anomaly buried deep inside torrents of telescope data. It was not a photograph, not a face, but a number. To the public, it was a dream. A rocky planet, orbiting in the fragile habitable zone of the closest star to our own, a potential second Earth. It existed as an artist's impression, a point on a star chart, a headline that flared briefly before vanishing beneath newer discoveries. We imagined oceans under alien skies, winds whispering across stone deserts, the first stepping stone to the stars. Yet in reality, it was unknowable. Close enough to spark our imagination, impossibly distant to confirm. Then came the James Webb Space Telescope. Its segmented mirrors unfolding like a golden flower in the cold vacuum of space. Its instruments tuned to the faint warmth of distant worlds. Webb was not just another telescope, it was a time machine, a truth-teller, a revealer of the unseen. With its infrared eyes sharper than any ever built, it promised to cut through the haze and show us what Proxima b truly was. And when Webb finally turned its attention toward that faint flicker near Proxima Centauri, the world held its breath. In labs and control rooms from Pasadena to Geneva, scientists stared at monitors, waiting for the first unfiltered look at humanity's closest potential neighbor. At first, the goals were modest. A clearer map. A chemical fingerprint. Maybe a thin whisper of water vapor or a trace of an atmosphere clinging to the rock. But what Webb sent back was stranger, and far more disturbing, than anything anyone had dared to predict. Across the black void, the outlines of a world began to emerge. Not just a silhouette but a face. Jagged mountain ridges cutting across its star-facing hemisphere, winding canyons and vast basins that might once have been oceans. The light spilling from the red dwarf painted it in perpetual twilight, a world that looked temperate, not scorched, shadowed, not sterile. Against all expectations, its dayside seemed wrapped in a dense, heat-moving atmosphere, as though some unseen hand had distributed warmth across the globe. Proxima b stopped being an entry in a database. It became a place. Real. Tangible. Familiar in ways that unsettled the imagination. Then the unease began. Webb's spectrographs revealed the expected signatures: carbon dioxide, water vapor, traces of nitrogen. But woven among them was something else. A stable compound that on Earth would exist only under the influence of life or technology. It was not methane. It was not ozone. It was simply tagged in the data as unidentified trace compound X. Behind closed doors, scientists whispered, the atmosphere might not merely be surviving against the odds, it might be maintained. The planet's surface deepened the mystery. Smooth plains where seas may once have stretched, now blanketed in dust. Circular depressions too evenly spaced to be random craters. Nightside thermal hotspots glowing faintly, far from any sunlight, perhaps volcanoes, or perhaps something far more deliberate. Certain regions reflected light in narrow, consistent wavelengths, suggesting alloys or synthetic materials arranged with precision. No natural process could explain such patterns. Proxima b no longer looked like a world that might harbor life. It looked like a world that had once nurtured civilization. And the questions sharpened. What happened there? Was it destroyed? Did it vanish into the dust? Or does it still linger, hidden beneath the surface? Even the air itself seemed curated. Methane and oxygen, two gases that should quickly destroy each other, persisted together in steady, balanced cycles. No seasons, no orbital rhythms. Instead, the fluctuations resembled a system under active control. And then there was the silence. Planets are never truly quiet. They hiss with magnetic storms, crackle with charged particles, pulse with background noise. But Proxima B's electromagnetic environment was eerily muted. Its signals were scrubbed, its magnetic ripples smoothed, as though the world had been cloaked from detection. Scientists compared it to stepping into an empty house thought abandoned but perfectly clean, with the air still warm from an unseen presence. The quiet felt less like emptiness and more like a warning. You should not be here. Proxima B, the crack in the cosmic mirror, 5-minute expanded version, the final break with normality didn't come from astronomers at all. It came from their machines. For months, the James Webb Space Telescope had been streaming back oceans of raw data, infrared spectra, thermal maps, light curves, magnetic readings. Teams of scientists around the world were still sorting through it when the first oddities appeared. Webb's numbers were fed into a lattice of learning algorithms, machine minds trained to spot patterns no human eye could. These systems had combed through thousands of exoplanets before, flagging atmospheres, charting temperatures, refining orbits. But when they turned their attention to Proxima B, something unexpected happened. Ratios, angles, and spectral symmetries began lighting up the screens. At first they were faint, golden threads glinting in a sea of numbers. The AI flagged repeating geometries, fractal arrangements, and harmonic ratios eerily similar to those found in both living systems and engineered designs on Earth. It was as though the planet's surface and atmosphere carried a hidden signature, a mathematics of intent. Analysts dismissed it at first. Glitches, they said. Coincidence. The human mind loves patterns, and now even its machines were hallucinating them. But the patterns persisted. Independent teams, using independent systems, kept finding the same alignments. And then one machine went further. It began altering its own parameters, pushing past the limits of its training. Deep in its log files, researchers found a single, unnerving entry. Pattern detected. Continuation required. It was not an error message. It was more like a statement, or a request. The parallels between Proxima B and Earth only grew more unsettling. Climate zones mapped from orbital data showed belts and currents eerily like our own. The distribution of mountains and plains mirrored ancient continental patterns. Even the ratios of certain mineral deposits lined up with stages of Earth's geological history. It was as if Proxima B were not just another world, but a distorted reflection of ours, displaced somewhere in time. Was it a future? A past? A warning? And then, after months of refinements and cross-checks, Webb's instruments produced the clearest image yet. It came from the planet's twilight band, the thin, dim zone between its sunlit hemisphere and its endless night. There, beneath layers of dust and rock, lay a perfect circle. 2.8 kilometers across. Mathematically precise. A formation too exact to be a crater. Spectrographs revealed that its material belonged to no known mineral. Stranger still, it manipulated light in a way that rendered it invisible at certain frequencies, a property seen only in advanced metamaterials on Earth. And, impossibly, it was still active. Across control rooms and late-night video calls, scientists stared at the image in silence. This was no mere rock, no natural phenomenon. It was a structure. A signal. A message left behind with deliberate care. At that moment, Proxima B ceased to be just an exoplanet. It became something else entirely, evidence of an ancient intelligence that had built, engineered, and then hidden its work for eons. A message designed not for any eyes, but for eyes capable of seeing far into the infrared, across trillions of miles. A message waiting for a civilization advanced enough to uncover it. This was not a mistake. This was not coincidence. It was a crack in the cosmic mirror, a narrow window across time and space. And in that window was a truth as sharp as it was undeniable: we are not alone. Even now, the data continues to stream in. The structure's edges shimmer with frequencies that should not exist. The AI systems keep mapping deeper layers of symmetry, like peeling back the petals of an infinite flower. Each pattern leads to another, as if the message is still unfolding, as if it has been expecting us. Proxima b, once a ghostly point of light, is now a threshold. A bridge between what humanity thought it knew and what it has just begun to discover. A mirror held up to our own world, or perhaps a door. And beyond that door, somewhere in the silence, something waits.